So, who is Michelle Phillips?
Mm. I'm a spiritualist healer. Um, my whole purpose in this lifetime is to serve. It has been ever since I can remember or I was born. It's like when I was born, I can't say when I was born. My first conscious memory was I knew I'd always lived before, and I knew that I wasn't from here. I just always used to pray. I knew God, and I don't know how I knew God, but I knew God, and I knew that God was my mom and dad, because I used to cry at night, "Mommy, Daddy, please let me come home." So I could always read people, and I didn't know that I was reading people. You know, in those days, it wasn't the consciousness that people have now. So I was very sensitive and always knew what was going on, would have dreams that were coming true. And it was difficult growing up with that consciousness. But now the gift of it is, it's been my whole life's mission. You know, I didn't know it back then, but really serving on this level. So I'm really, really grateful to be on the planet at this time and to be able to make a difference in whatever my agreement is or my piece of the puzzle is.
How did you find out about your piece of the puzzle?
It's been a progress. It wasn't like all at once. It's like years ago I was guided to this holistic health college. And at that time I didn't even know what holistic health meant. I knew Jesus, Jeshua. He's been my main man. And ever since I can remember as a child, he was with me and would always communicate and talk to me. So I was going through, at the time, what I thought was a breakdown. Now I know it was a breakthrough, where I lost totally my identity. Everything that could happen, happened. And so Jesus guided me to this holistic health college in Santa Cruz, California. And I didn't want to go, and he said, "Go, enroll." I said, "I don't want to be there with all those hippies." Now, because they had men with long hair, now I love men with long hair. But at that time, my consciousness was different. So, and as a child, I had never been touched or held, or no one ever told me they loved me. I was in a foster home, all those old stories. Anyway, so when I went to this holistic health college, I started going through my own barriers, you know, working through my own issues. And then I started doing massage, and I thought, I don't want to do massage for people. And messages started coming through. And then I could see inside the first, the second chakra, and I could see the relationship in the mother's womb, where they started picking up their belief systems, patterns, how it affected them in this lifetime. And then I just started taking people into past lives, and it just evolved. 4 years later, I was in Hawaii, one of the top healers there. So I tell this story because it's so, I think, inspirational for people. When you really have that connection to the source or spirit and you follow your guidance, even if you're doing it like I felt like at the time, kind of screaming and kicking, you know, to go there, it's going to open up for you into the higher picture of what your purpose is here. So my purpose just evolved. And then in living in Hawaii, I went through another dark night of the soul. And that's what this book is about, that the Creator channeled through me. It's like I was finishing the story of my dark night of the soul, how I came out of it, because I wanted other people to know when they're going through it and they come out, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So when I sat down to finish that book, this one just came through me. I was shocked. So it's really the Creator and how creation began, how his heart opened to his feminine, and what we're doing on the planet at this time. And it really gives us hope to know that just as we went through a karmic agreement individually, the whole collective consciousness is in a karmic completion also. So we're in a death and a rebirth at the same time. And either one, death is difficult, birth is difficult, and we're going through both. So we're going through a death karmically, individually and collectively. And so we're coming full circle. And because of that, every pattern, every issue, anything we've ever gone through in life is up for us again. Every pattern that we came into this life to heal ourselves from. So you could say we're back in the mother's womb, the program that we came in again, so that we can really move through it. And what the Creator talks about in the book is we're actually coming into a new lifetime without physically leaving the body. I mean, many people are leaving, and yet many are just pushing through the old karmic programs, patterns, and coming into the higher consciousness of who they are in the physical body now.
So how long do you think we need to stay in the womb?
I feel like we can move through it very quickly right now. You know, there are so many techniques coming through all over the world. Like I have my piece of the puzzle, and people are opening up to the collective consciousness of the I Am, or the Christ, the Bodhisattva, whatever you want to call it. It's all that one consciousness. So there's so many techniques coming through people. We can move through it like this. We don't need to stay in it any longer. You know, I say we've paid our dues. And the more we collectively move out of those old emotions, because everything's collective, we're holding the light for each other to move into a higher consciousness.
So you think everyone on this planet is moving into a higher consciousness?
Yes, everyone is. Even those that maybe have been in a very low consciousness. We are in an evolution process, and there's no one that can't go through it. So that's why my belief and what the Creator talks about, why you're seeing so much going on at the planet. Like in Egypt, you know, it kind of, that consciousness began like the Freedom Act, you could say, when they started rebelling against the government. And I was watching it on TV in America before I came here. And they were interviewing people and women, and they say, I don't care if I die. So that's the consciousness, because there is no death to begin with. We just move like from one reality into another. And if you're not free, you're dead anyway. So it's like a domino effect. It's happening all over the world, a rippling effect. So even those that have been so oppressed and denied, and it's like they're opening up. And maybe they're opening up in anger and war and hatred and warring against each other. But that's like the shadow that's really fighting against the light right now. So I feel like it's so important to really focus on the light of what's going on here, so that's the collective that we're assisting to move through. So if people are watching TV and media and reading books about everything, fear, 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 that feeds the shadow. And again, the Creator talks about that in the book. So you're giving your energy, your life force to the shadow. So you're feeding them, you're keeping it alive.
So do you think that all this process is going to lead to a snap?
I don't think it's a snap. No, I wish it were. I feel like we're already in the 2012 doorway. It's not like we're going to go in the 2012 and we're all free. We're in it right now. We're moving through it. But I just think, look how quickly that new consciousness wakes up, like Egypt, and then the rippling effect all over the world. You know, the Great Wall that came down was like that. So people, it's in our DNA right now. Freedom is being activated because it's in the program of our DNA, in our soul's evolution collectively. So I don't think it's a snap. If it were a snap, what the Creator talks about, in my belief, is if we were to stand up tomorrow and did not have all of our old stories that we agreed to go through, and I believe everything is by agreement. It's not that we're down here victims and anyone did anything to us. We agreed to come down to free our souls, to free the collective. So if we were to stand up tomorrow and didn't have our old stories, we wouldn't even know who we were, because it's been so much of our identity. So to go through it, people talk about like peeling the onion. So it needs to be slow, somewhat slow, not as slow as it used to be, not as slow as I feel like I went through or many went through. But if we were to stand up and didn't have our stories, we'd have amnesia. Who were we? Who are we? But I think the incredible thing right now, and people are really concerned about the world, and it's important to be, but to really focus on the incredible transformation that's happening and these incredible children that are coming through now. They are the future of the world, and they are coming through very, very conscious. And what the Creator talks about is inside of us, we also have those crystal indigo children. And the Creator's talking about the rainbow children, and I know you were talking about the diamond children. I feel like it's the same energy, maybe a different word, but it's the same. So within us, as we come into this new lifetime, we get to activate that consciousness in us, where we all have those crystal, indigo, or rainbow children inside of us. So we don't have to wait until we go home and remember, oh, and then agree to come down here in a higher consciousness. We've agreed to stay on the earth and awaken that consciousness. And I believe these children that are so incredible are holding the light for us to do that. They're connecting to the light within us, and we're waking up and remembering. And we're also holding the light for them to wake up.